it's Lisa. So this is just a video about how I save and budget my money as a teenager. And disclaimer, I am just a high school student. I am in no way a professional. So some of these tips might not work for you, and if they don't, try something else or make up your own tips. It's all up to you. Just you're saving the money and it's your life. So let's just get on with the video now. The first thing I had to tell you is that I have a part-time job. That's how I make my money. So depending on how many hours I'm working per week, I will sometimes make 400 to almost 600 Canadian dollars per month. And I make minimum wage, so it's not that much money. And next thing that I do to budget is that I set aside money for my bills. So I have a phone plan and Spotify. Since I'm a student, I don't really have that many bills, so I'm grateful for that. But I always have enough money to pay my bills. That's a must for me. So yeah, that's just my fixed expenses. And the next thing that I try to do to budget is to spend maximum 4 days per week. So I try to not spend over 4 days per week. And sometimes I will spend 4 days per week, but then sometimes I won't spend it all in a week. So to keep track of that, I use an app on my iPad. It's called Strides. So I just log all my spending or no spending days, and then if I spent something, I will use the little dialogue circle thing. I don't really know how to describe it. Chat box, speech box, and I'll just write whatever I spent on and how much I spent on it, so that I could put it into my expenses sheet later on. So that's just how I try to minimize my spending. The next thing that I have is spending per month. So the goal for me is to spend under $300 per month. Next thing I have is cutting expenses. So some things I like to do is shop for the cheaper sections. So sometimes I'll go to the dollar store, or I will thrift for clothes. So I just try to buy stuff that's not all that crazily expensive. And the next thing I have is making your own food and drinks. It is so expensive to eat out, but you buy coffee every single day. You're gonna save lots of money if you just bring your own lunch, or don't go to the cafe first thing in the morning. Make your own drinks at home. The next thing I have is pick other activities to do. So if you're going out for dinner, maybe you could have a dinner at home. Cook with your friends or your significant others, and have fun doing that at home instead of spending more money outside to eat. Or I know that my friends and I, sometimes we really like going to the mall, so instead of doing that, we could go somewhere free, or just stay at one of their houses instead of going to the mall, where I feel more obligated to spend something. So the next thing that I have is motivation to save. So if you're saving, it is always, always, always great to have a goal and a reason for why you're saving. I'm telling you, you will save much more money if you have reasons to why you're saving and goals. So some of my goals are to buy a MacBook Pro. I'm saving up for that, and to pay for one of my school fees. I'm going to do the IB program next year, so I need to save money for that. So those are just my goals and why I'm saving money. So next is more tips for saving. So one of the things that I learned in business class is to save at least 10% of your paycheck. So if you make $10, save $1. Not everyone might have this, but for my bank, there's an automatic system where you could transfer money from your checkings to your savings every month, and you could have whichever amount that you want, so that you'll kind of be forced to save money, I guess. And the next thing I have is to if you make tips or you have a bunch of change around, roll them up. I know some people who saved up all their coins at the end of the year, they rolled them up and they literally made over $100 just from a bunch of change. And the next thing I have is that just save $1 a day. Honestly, if you're that bad at saving, try to save at least $1 a day. Keep them in a jar or whatever, so that you'll save at least $30 per month, and it'll slowly just add up until the end of the year. And then for general tips that I have is that when you see something on sale, don't buy it. Don't buy everything that you see on sale. especially if you don't need it. And if you do like online shopping, like I know I do online shopping, I have a bunch of items in my wish list. I try to have them like sit there for at least a week before I buy them, just so I know if I really want them or not. So I know for some items, like there was like a toner or something that I wanted in my wish list. I didn't do anything for over a week, and then I looked back on it and I was like, oh, I don't know if I really need that. And like another thing for general tips is that for the month of November, I'm trying to go a whole month without spending except for like my bills and everything. Just like I like challenges, and it's just like a challenge for me. So that's why I'm doing it. So you could have like a month where you try to spend like a very little money besides paying for your fixed expenses. So another tip that I have is to look long term rather than short term. So would you rather go out and spend all your money in one night, or would you rather save up for like when you retire, or for university or college or whatever you want? So I think it's better if you just look long term, and I think you'll get more motivation to save that way. So this is just how I budget, and now I'm going to go more into detail about how I save and how I keep track of everything. So for savings, I keep track of my savings in my bullet journal. So I create a sheet, like a spread for my savings, and I have a title, I have my goals in one side, and like I have my amount, like how much I put into my savings on the other. And I just draw like little circles because I can't actually draw. And so like I put the amount that I want to save up for. So for this video, I think I put like it was $1,000. I go up by $25 for each circle. So say I have like $25 in one circle, then the next circle will be $50 and $75 and so on. Say I wanted to save up to like $50 and I have $50 in my savings account right now. I will put the date that I transfer the money into my savings account, and I'll just color it in. So I just try to color in all my circles, and yeah, that's just how I keep track of my savings. You don't really have to do it this way, like you could just do it in like Excel sheet or whatever, but that's just how I keep track of my savings. So to record like my expenses and everything, I use Google Sheets. You can use Excel, doesn't matter, I just prefer Google Sheets. For one column I have the date, and then I have the items, the price, and like the total monthly expenses. Like once a week I'll just look over everything on my Strides app, and then I will add the things I spent onto the sheet. So first I will write the date that I spent the item on, and then I will write the items that I spent on. So for here I just wrote like jars and gum, and then I'll just write the price of them. And then so at the end of the month, once I have everything like done and recorded, I will use the sum functions on Google Sheets. That's like the symbol that almost looks like an E on the very right side, and it adds them all up for me. So that's super simple, and I will add up all of them, and I'll have it like at the bottom. And like on days that I spend nothing, I just put like an A, so not available, and I put them down to $0. I also like to like color code my Google Sheets to make it look nicer. Also, it's easier to see like which like cell it is at. So that's what I do. And so I have another Google Sheets for my income, so how much I make. So in one of the columns I have month, and then I have the work period, the payday, the hours, like how many hours I worked for, the net pay, and I have the total amount, so that's how much money I make in a month. So I get paid bi-weekly, so usually I'll have 2 or 3 paychecks per month. So like you can see for October, I got paid for the work period of 2 weeks, and I worked for like say 20 hours, so since I make minimum wage, that would be around $200, and I'll do the same thing for my next paycheck, so 2 weeks, and I'll just write it down. So write the work period that I did, when I got paid, the hours that I worked for, and like my net pay. And then at the end of the month, I'll do the same thing that I did in my expenses. I'll use the sum function on Google Sheets, and I'll just add up how much money I made in a month. So I also like to bold like the total amount and like the titles, and then I'll color code everything just to make it look nicer. And Another thing to add is that if you don't want to make like a sheets, like a Google sheet or an Excel sheet, there's also like websites and apps like Mint I've heard a lot about, or you need a budget. That's great for keeping track of everything that you spend and for just making a budget for you. So yeah, that's other ways that you could keep track of everything. So here I'm just like showing you like my actual expenses tracker for 2018. So as you can tell, I have like the months down on one side, the items and the amount. And this is like I kept track of everything. So I see how like some days I wrote items down because that's when I like bought stuff, but then I put not available for a lot of the days too when I didn't spend at all. And also for October, I tried to do like how long I could go without spending money, so that's why there's a lot of not availables. Most of my expenses was due to like paying for an extracurricular, and yeah, that was like the bulk of my expenses. And then for August, I spent $1,000 because that's when I pay for my phone. And yes, that's like how I keep track of my expenses. So this video isn't perfect, and you don't have to follow me like any of these firms. This is just how I save. But I hope you learned something useful, and I hope you enjoy too. So thank you for watching. Bye.